SHE, and whole title is Civil Field Engineering Quality Annex SL COVID-19 HSC Engineer's Role Designs Construction Methods Contracts Organizations Communication Coordination Why behind quality. Very important considerations while certifications indicatively are displayed for reference. After many years of university and then many years of experience, different classes of certificates are achieved in life. Just to show to people or to understand what is fact of life. Very easy to study for many years. So it's not easy in fact, but for kids, for children, for those who dedicated or devote to studies, they get certificates. But while you are getting certificate, you also get something which is written on this screen, and that is quality is your responsibility. Safety, health and environment of yourself and for others who work for your engagement is a must. Quality is your responsibility to achieve. Your means everybody who is in engagement of profession, who is certified, who is certificate means high quality, or you can say professional certificate in engineering or otherwise as well. All count a lot if you consider them. And if you just think that it's a piece of paper and it's a ticket to buy job in market or to buy reputation in society, you can say for those who have not married to raise their market value, or for those who are married to raise their job value, that is different one. That is something related to your requirement and related to market requirement. I'm not stressing on that, that's your right. If you are capable, you shall get job, and if you are not capable, you may get different type of jobs. But wherever you work, one point is certain. One point is very much certain, that it is duty of those professionals, those paraprofessionals and those otherwise to work with quality aspect and to work with safety aspect, so that health of everyone remains intact, safety of work is under cover, no work should be unsafe, no person should be unsafe at any time, within controls, within applications. That is major point. Quality requires to be achieved, has to be achieved, must be achieved, and we call quality system. When we say quality system, means it is highly respectable terminology, quality system, which means your system from one end to another end. In that coverage, every activity must be well defined and must be well act able. If that activity does not work, there is done some lapse, or there happens some lapse, or system may not be as strong, as durable, as powerful should be. It can be checked regularly. Quality system cannot have cover to protect your ignorance. Quality system covers all inclusions, all sources, such as materials, human resources, equipment, administration, procurement, and quality in itself, or you can say whatever transpires, whatever transactions are done or conducted in that system, every every aspect should be oriented on quality and definition as well as industrial good practice or working good practice if it's not industrial. When we talk of quality, we talk of products because products and quality are linked together. It may be product or it may be service. Both come under same aspect. System says that you have to maintain it qualitatively. You have to define what you are going to do, how you are going to do, how shall you arrange every resource, how shall you produce it, and how shall you sell it, and how shall you respond on that. After sales, and what is your market strategy? What do you want to achieve, and how much it is good for your stakeholders? What is future aspect of your system and your product, etc., etc. What's your future growth? What's your future plans? All these are expressed to some extent in quality system. Quality system is some document that you are inventor of, you are author of. You mean, I mean, whoever is involved in that system in beginning to initiate that, to found that, those are responsible for that. An organization starts, it's not that it starts because it's an organization, but there is always certain fixed objective. That objective can be whatever you think it is. It can be in engineering world, and engineering world is very, very wide. So you can say engineering is unlimited. It may be manufacturing, it may be production, it may be factory, it may be industry, it may be service, it may be design, or construction, real estate, whatsoever. There is long list you can draw, and therefore quality is also very long list because this system is long list. System is to be understood, system is to be contemplated, and then system in line to requirement or what's your objective. It is worked out, it is designed, it is drawn, and then revisited, reviewed, properly understood, and then its power, its authorizers approve it, and it is all done. All this process is done in accordance to definitions or principles provided by certain third party organization and also by international organization. These principles must be complied with or must be understood by those who are authors of that system, or it should be properly imported to that system directly somewhere. Purpose of that system is that it makes sure that you are going to do job according to what your objective is and what international and national requirements are, principles are, directions are, guides are. Guidance. Guidance, though we call guidance, but in fact this is instruction. It is direction. It's a kind of mandate. Mandate means what should be done. With an understanding, with the supposition that if you follow this system, if you follow whatever is described, it shall for sure take you to a kind of reliable product, safe product, guaranteed product, quality product. That is an understanding which must come true. If those who are involved in that system, human resources wise, material wise, machine wise, design wise, whole team. It's not building that system, and it's not paper written or the document written that is system. It is complete structure of that system that you have devised, you installed, you managed or organized and run that system. This system you know very well, but again and again I have to stress that system is not a car or a body. That system is structure in mind, under principle directions, and that system should work practically. How it works, that is to be seen in field on ground. Means it's not building in which you sit, it's operation that you do. How is then affected to practical aspect. And once it is done, even you can say non-compliances may be observed. And if these are observed, then remedial action must be applied so that it comes to its original track or modified track. You can say amended track. And also it is assumed, it is presumed, though it's not guaranteed, it must be guaranteed now that whatever product we get out of that in form of material, in form of service, in form of whatever manufacturing products, that must be under guarantee approval, under quality approval, and that product must you can say give you its quality of performance, and quality of performance means quality. If it does not give that which you expected or you pay for, I mean to say when you pay for to buy some good, this means it should comply with whatever specifications it has undertaken, whatever mode of manufacturing it is undertaken. Those aspects must be contained within this product, and customer must realize that fact. And if does not do, this means either if you have applied correctly your specifications or criteria of that product, either that is not correct or there is some other error which must be pointed out, bulleted and corrected for further production. If that quality product does not give you quality, something is wrong somewhere, that must be detected, understood and resolved. Quality is not a game only. It's a game for those who like it, for those who respect it and apply it. For some people, quality is aim, quality is objective, and for some people, it's not an objective but botheration. I don't respect them who don't respect quality, because if you don't respect quality, you don't respect yourself. Quality is not a term. No. Quality is not a term, it should be nature. As an individual, one should have certain quality, one should have certain nature. We used to call that character before. We used to call that, means long back, if you go to 1960s, 70s, 80s, probably we used to call character of person, character of someone else, or I'm not saying moral because moral is something different. Character means what you do, that should be understood. That is your definition, and we can say you work to this standard. But now we say quality, in fact, quality is also a kind of character. How much you are enriched with your values, how much you are enriched with professional norms, how much you are made good according to those norms, and therefore we can say it is character or it is quality. Though quality is used, so I can use quality. Quality is very a basic requirement. And if it is not fulfilled, I can say there is some different approach we have to make. Okay, that product is rejected within that definition of specifications required to be applied on production of that good. But quality has many meanings. Certain products have many ranges, and that's all different levels of quality. We all know that. It's not necessary that you have same quality in all products. It depends on budget, requirement, market demand, and its use. Sometimes products are having different ranges which you can't imagine. If you buy a good, it has certain definition, must be. Even it is not mentioned on that, it should be, it's understood. If you go to buy something, it is written on that product, if it is consumable, that it has so many percentages of this ingredient and that ingredient and this ingredient, and that should be, it's not simply written, it should be, it should have that. And if it doesn't have that on the written, it's called malpractice in mercantile or in business or in manufacturing. If I say I have done this, I have done this work with this specification, this means it must be, it must be, it must have that specification which you adopted to employ this product with. And if it doesn't have that, this means there is something wrong, and then this product is substandard in comparison to that specification or that requirement. That is very easy to understand. Quality is not a general term, it is a specific term. General may be system, a system in which you are working. There is a difference of approach. System can be general, same system can have different models of quality within that. Maybe there are 10 varieties of one good, and those 10 varieties have different quality levels. But quality system as a whole, that's adopted there, is unique for that company. Unique in a sense, it can be changed though, but system remains there. This system has to define what it is. It has given its own definition. It has given in means where does this stand, what it is, what's objective, what's final, how much you are performing, and which one is this amendment number, like that. Because it cannot remain constant forever. It has to change depending on demands, depending on success or failure. That's what quality is. So quality is very wide on definition. It's like a wood, it's like a big dense forest, and once it happens that it becomes a professional way to define further and further. So I'm not challenging any quality here. I'm just trying to apprise which we ignore. We have a habit, sometimes our professionals have a habit, not only our professionals, all over the world, forgetting, ignoring, or sleeping on quality system and quality itself. Fetches problems sometimes, scatters problems. You get problems which require to be solved, but you don't even solve them, or you don't even think to solve them. That problem comes into profession, into industry, and you'll find that I purchased this material, but it's not giving me what was assured to me, and you feel very upset, but you don't know what to do. That's what I say. Quality is quality. It cannot be taken for granted, and safety is a parallel system. Safety is a parallel system with quality system, because safety is another cover. Quality is a commercial cover. It's long life cover. Means if your material is going to be used for, or your product is going to be used for, say, many decades, it's going to affect those decades. Or it may be going to use only for a couple of weeks or day, that's different. This means it varies in one range to other range to other range like that. Safety is for process of production, pre-process of production and post-process of production. It applies in its production, it applies in its pre-production stages, maybe transporting, arranging raw material, procurement. Also there is different kind of safety system. Safety is a system, that's why I say. So that's why just like a quality is a system and system has a quality, similarly safety is a system and safety has a quality. Safety too has a quality, just like every other system has. So we have to understand in different way. One is system quality, one is original basic quality, one is product quality, one is safety quality, and you can say many other engineering quality, or you can say quality in quality, quantification quality, work quality, how you do, how you perform in every approach. So that's also a kind of quality. Just like I say, individual quality, we have different ways, different parameters to apply to understand. Same way we can say every quality is a question and answer in itself. Maybe one quality is a question and the other quality factor is an answer. We have to analyze that way. Quality cannot be taken a term only. It's not a term, it's a structure. It's a soul of material, a kind of soul. If that soul is absent, material becomes dead. Dead in a sense means it's not pleasing one to you that you bought it and it performs. It's very important when it's like medicine. You know, when we fall sick, we have problems in health, we consume certain medicines according to medical practitioners, so prescription, and we get recovered from that illness. It's medicine. It's also a kind of medicine, provision of quality in product and how to produce that product, a working system which must have working quality, a delivery product with a delivery quality, and product itself has a quality. So when we get quality product, you feel enthusiastic that I got good product. And if you buy bad quality product, certainly you will not be happy. That's all right, because your money has gone waste, or your money doesn't return you what for you spent. I'm not giving general statement for all. I'm just giving a particular statement for those who have to understand what is quality. Previously, a contemplation existed that quality means testing only. Testing or similar kind of inspections or examinations, whatever is to, those were considered only quality. This was described somewhere, this is given data, you have to follow this for this quality, and this is tolerance range, and then you had to compare, still you compare what is objective, what is target, prescribed objective or specified objective target, and what we achieved with this, and what is tolerance limit in that. But still we do same professionally. Quality control is a part of quality system. It's not different. You may say this is very much technical in details. You can say in-depth technical application, in-depth technical inspection, examination, or comparison is control. Minute control on every aspect of production, every aspect of manufacture, and every aspect on prosecution of something. We have to get this point into mind. And only then we can understand quality. If you start defining quality, there is no limit. And you cannot constrain only to principles given by certain international work organization, international quality organization, but it's your own organization that can give substances, materials, products much more better than what you specify. I am talking of that state. Whatever you specify will give you this, and you should give better than that. That's called value. Means you value or requirement, and you value like bonus. As you are buying this material, you give bonus for this to do I can say what I should say, encouragement, or you can say incentive. Means I give you this additionally to you because you express your interest in this product, and not only express your interest but you purchase this project. You are a owner, proud owner of this product. Therefore I value you, and in transaction of that value I am giving you quality added quality just for promoting my business or to welcome you. That can be an understanding, that can be an interpretation in this regard. So, quality is something you can say it's a kind of measurement to evaluate your product. Quality Quality is real measurement. I'm not talking of quantity. Quantity is paid because of measurement by quality. Quantity is paid, you cannot say no, it is paid, and that's where we understand what is quality. Engineering is a word. Engineering is a word which does not move, which cannot move, and which should not move without consideration of quality. Because engineering itself is a system. There are many branches of engineering, and every branch has many disciplines of engineering, and many disciplines have many subdisciplines. This means there are thousands of disciplines or hundreds of disciplines that can be utilized in engineering, and there are many branches, many disciplines which require in every activity, in every creation, every manufacturing, different levels of understanding of system. I also know you cannot understand in your life every system, but we have to create an approach or a habit, professional habit, to poke ourselves into something which we are going to do. Just follow up of someone's design or someone's criteria professionally is correct, but it has to be kept under control. It has to be revisited, reviewed, reinvestigated, re-examined, and then we can say we adopt not exactly what it is, but we adopt this way. That's also called quality. Varying approach. You are varying your approaches, and that's what we say quality, most different way. I am not going to explain at length what is quality, because that you know very well. Well, I think there is no one who doesn't believe in quality. There is no one who doesn't want quality. You ask everyone, everybody will respond, yes, I want quality, but within this price. Don't raise price. This is, you may say, a kind of reservation or restriction in that deal. You have to give me this quality for this price. If you want charge more, you have to give me more. Life in profession is very different. Profession is not easy to understand actually. It's kind of service we have to provide to someone. Means Advanced knowledge you must have. You must have updated knowledge. You must have thorough knowledge. Only then you are called a performer in a profession. Because you are in profession, you cannot go against theories and practicals and formula and mathematics, calculations or basic sciences, whatever are required in your profession for performance. You cannot go against them. And keeping abreast everything, quality and safety, both have to move together. That is very important point. You cannot say this is my quantity and this is my quality, because quality cannot be shown without product. You cannot show quality without product. That is also a fact of life. If you show this is my product, this is my quality, well, I think that's not acceptable. Product must be with quality within it. It cannot be attached to this. Quality is one thing that cannot be attached but can be integrated, can be inbuilt. That is quality. Just like everybody has quality in, oh, see this person, this very well qualified person. There is no separate document attached with that person, but that person is whether having quality or not having quality is a question of, it's an open topic to investigate. By what means? By means of performance done by that person on that subject or on in that field in which that person is a specialist or non-specialist but educated and professional. If that person delivers what is required under that system, we can say the person is professional. And if that person does not do it, that person either doesn't know job or that person is underqualified for that job which you have given him. That's why continuous scrutiny of capability of individual, continuous scrutiny of capability of materials, and also continuous you can say investigation or scrutiny for all aspects. This is a never ending one because of technology movement. You cannot all time say, I need this, I don't need this. So you have to understand quality in very, very different term. Quality, safety, of course, safety is a must. And safety must be observed, must be done. And safety may be different at different times. We work on ground, we work in a pit. Safety is different type. You have to arrange differently. And you work at first story, second story or more. You have to apply different kind of safety. And if you go to then further high, you move horizontally or you move vertically. Both ways you have different types of safety requirement, and that's also a kind of, if you have that, so you may say you can have every right to say that we are working according to quality safety or safety that has quality system within this inbuilt. Means you may say what you are talking about this. No, it's a fact. Your system in every branch, every subdisciplines must be well founded, well thought of, and if that is done, you have to do same for everyone. It's so simple. And also engineers, they are responsible in manufacturing and industry and also in others. They must realize quality facts. And in particular, those engineers who can change society physically cannot escape responsibility. I'm not going to define same page again and again. Time, cost is very important. Time is important, cost is important. Then quality is of course there, and you can say, if you lose time, you lose everything. That is also true. Time cannot come back. It is such an entity, it cannot come back. Even if you try, you can't get it back. Yes, you may say, I have to work twice hours a day to achieve my target, but time is time. You have no control on time. You have control on your energies. You have control on your performance. You don't have control on time, but time controls you. That is fact of life. And it's also true, it does not wait for anybody. Time is so powerful tool, powerful part of system that defeats all other systems, all other requirements it can defeat. If you have that consideration, it's wonderful. We were talking abrasive wheels last time. Abrasive wheels. And we talked in that about many aspects. Let us say, if I go back to, we talked in those abrasive wheels, purpose, definitions, and what are these grinders, wheels like, how can we keep them safe, ourselves safe and working safe, what are coarse, medium, fine, very fine types, mountings, etc. And what we should do in this, what are guards, and you can say rest for wheels, all we did study in that. Wheel balance, conditions of floor, all we studied in that. Eye protection, etc. We studied in that. Now we go to environment, control and waste disposal. I think maybe we did not miss anything in the last chapter, let me be sure. And it was every implied person shall make adequate and proper use of guards. So let's repeat last one better, last fifth page I take, so that let us take this. Let's start here. Summary of mounting precautions. Summary of mounting precautions. Before mounting, all wheels should be closely inspected and rung to make sure that they have not been mishandled in transit on storage. Means when you open out that, you have to check that. Only competent and authorized persons should carry out wheel mounting. Bush, if included, should not project beyond side of wheel. Care should be taken to ensure that all wheels, washers and flanges are free from foreign matters. All burrs should be taken off flanges. Washers of compressible material not over 1/16 of an inch thickness should be fitted between wheels and its flanges where surfaces are flat. So we have gone through this. Wrinkles in washers should be avoided. Washers are not recommended to taper and devoid of tail wheel. When tightening nuts, care should be taken to tighten them just enough to hold wheel firmly. Excessive clamping pressure is liable to damage wheel. Nuts should be tightened by hand pressure on a spanner and never by a hammer and chisel or similar means. Nuts should be tightened by hand pressure on a spanner and never by a hammer and chisel or similar means. When flanges are clamped, when flanges are clamped by a series of bolts, care should be taken to screw up each bolt uniformly. All bolts should first be run up with fingers and then tightened in pattern formation afterwards. Guards, of course, we discussed guards also. Just repeat it fast. Guards shall be securely attached to body of machine or straight side wheels. Maximum angular exposure to abrasives periphery and side shall not exceed 180 degrees. Guards for straight grinding machine should be provided with a front curtain which shall be securely fastened to body of machine. For cup wheel, back face and periphery shall be enclosed and guard shall be adjusted to compensate for wear of wheel. For depressed center grinding wheels shall have a maximum angular exposure of 180 degrees 180 degrees and guard be so located as to work between operator and wheel during e-use. Clearance between inside of guard and periphery of unused wheels shall not be greater than 5% of nominal wheel diameter. Then guards have four main functions. One is to contain wheel parts in event of a burst, means wheel part should be within that, you can say, guards when there's some burst. Contain wheel parts in event of burst. To protect wheel against advertent damage from shock. To prevent as far as possible operators coming into contact with wheel and prevent oversized wheel being fitted. So one is contain wheel parts within this guard if there's some explosion or burst, and to protect wheel against advertent damage from shock, and also to prevent as far as possible operator coming into contact with the wheel, to prevent the oversized wheel being fitted. Rests also we discussed. Let us repeat that too. Where there is rest, where there is rest provided with support for supporting with press, shall all times while wheels motion be properly secured and adjusted so as to be close as practical to exposed part of abrasive wheel. Every rest provided must be of substantial construction properly maintained. Training and racing. Training and racing, that is, accidents may be caused by operators' fingers being trapped between rest and wheel. Also because if work done is itself trapped, although such accidents are more frequently caused by bad rest adjustment, their possibility is minimized by frequently maintaining to keep wheel in concentric position on its spindle. A wheel out of round shall cause excessive vibration and periodic knocking. A wheel out of round shall cause excessive vibration and periodic knocking of work against wheel, which would invariably result in damage to either abrasive wheel or spindle bearings. Condition of wheel surface such as loading, glazing, which reduce cutting action, may induce operator to compensate by additional pressure of work on abrasive wheels. Condition of wheel surface such as loading, glazing, which reduces cutting action, may induce operator to compensate by additional pressure of work on abrasive wheel. Dressing a wheel is therefore essential for efficient production, and frequent light dressing are generally preferable to occasional deep dressing. Now there are certain precautions which must be taken care of. Dressing tools should be rigidly mounted at proper angle and direction with a revolving cutter type dresser of revolving cutter type, lugs to be provided as an anchor. Haphazard methods of dressing. Haphazard methods of dressing, such as using chipping hammer, just a chipping hammer, or even striking work against wheel, should be forbidden. Care should be taken to reduce possibility of dressing tools jamming between abrasive wheel and rest or other fixed part of machine. While trying or dressing, operator should be properly protected by hoods or screen. Available are many types of abrasive wheels, dressers, and various methods by which these operations may be carried out. Wheel balance. Makers Makers within normal limits balance abrasive wheels for some operations. Closer limits of balance are required. This is obtained by various methods such as insertion of lead, use of heavy paint, such as insertions of lead, use of heavy paint, a bind, arrangement of sliding weights. Out of balance condition causes chatter. Out of balance condition causes chatter which can be detrimental to work, and if it's excessive, it may result in damage to wheel and spindle. Generally, larger wheels and faster speed requires high importance of correct balancing. Condition of floors. Condition of floors. Floors surrounding every fixed machine or area where portable tools are used shall be maintained in good and even condition. It should be kept clear of loose material and prevented from becoming slippery. Approved cautionary notice regarding hazards arising from use of abrasive wheels shall be affixed, signed, and erected in every room where grinding or cutting is carried out. Duties of workers. No employed person using as an abrasive wheel shall willfully misuse or remove its guard without willfully or misuse, and with willfully, no employed person shall use an abrasive wheel willfully misuse it and remove its guard willfully, or minimize any protection flanges or other appliance provided in pursuance of regulations or whatever rest for a work piece. Every employed person, every employed person Every employed person shall make adequate and proper use of guards, protection, flanges, and other appliances provided with. In pursuance of these regulations and of tests and of rest for work, peace, and if someone then you can say eye protection, persons carrying out dry grinding operations or throwing or dressing an abrasive wheel must wear suitable eye protection or be protected by suitable transparent screens. Cautionary notice, approved cautionary notice of hazards riding or throwing be resurrected. You can say eye protection, persons carrying out dry grinding operations or throwing or dressing an abrasive wheel must wear suitable eye protection or be protected right eye center. You can say approved cautionary notice of hazards arising from use of abrasive wheels shall be fixed in every room where grinding or cutting is carried out. And we can say persons carrying out dry grinding operations or throwing or dressing an abrasive wheel must wear suitable eye protection or be protected by suitable transparent screens. References are BS codes 2029244881. One is specific for eye protection, other one bonded abrasive products. And then we can go to environmental controls and waste disposal. Very improved tab type. We talk of environment control and waste disposal. What is that? That point must be understood properly. Put fan for a mind. Getting sweating. So environment control and waste disposal I'm talking, which is very interesting topic for everybody. What is actually we are talking of here? Adherence to requirements in environment control procedure. The adherence to requirements in environmental control procedure shall minimize impact of construction activities to land, air, water, flora and fauna. Adherence to requirements in environmental control procedure shall minimize impact of construction activities to land, air, water, flora and fauna. These requirements apply to all construction activities and applicable locations throughout camps, preparation of access ways and work areas associated with installations under control of contractor, EPC contractor. Let us say one by one. Environmental control procedure prescribes requirements during construction for spill prevention and response, waste management, dust control, traffic, noise and vibration control. Environmental protection we are talking. Environment control, waste disposal. environment control waste disposal, and for this you can say I'm here to find here I think I've thought some sites here. Construction waste management. Let us see what's that. I like to read this page and show you this page with full-fledged. This is all, of course, this is old one, but it doesn't mean it's still valid. So let's concentrate on this. I'll put that file back. Abrasives I'm closing. So I'm keeping the result. I'm going to this construction waste. Construction waste, let me put it on, please. 175. Construction waste management is one of main areas discussed in construction environmental management or organization plan. Demolition, building information, modeling, leadership in energy and environment design, reuse and subcontract. This page is from Science Direct. Now in this we will find, this is content I will show you before. So we'll go back. Now, closing materials and products, choosing materials and product. This is a paper written by Sam Kova, PhD, lead AP, in Green Construction Project Controls, Construction Waste Management. General application of a construction waste management plan is to minimize amount of materials going to landfills during construction by diverting construction waste and demolition and land clearing debris from landfill disposal. General application of construction waste management plan is to minimize amount of materials going to landfills during construction by diverting construction waste and demolition and land clearing debris from landfill disposal. It also helps redirect recyclable recovered sources back to manufacturing process and redirect reusable materials to appropriate sites. From outset, project waste should be recognized as an integral part of overall materials management or organization. Whatever plan should require is regular submittal tracking progress. Plans should also show how required recycling rates to be achieved, including materials to be recycled or salvaged, cost estimates comparing recycling to disposal fees, materials handling requirements, and how plan shall be communicated to crew and subcontractors. Premise is that waste management is a part of material organization and recognition that once project waste is material available for another project leads. It's a very important point. Premise is that waste management is a part of material organization management and recognition that one project's waste can be a material available for another project leads to an efficient and effective waste management process. Waste management requires or its requirements should be spelled out early in design process and the topic of discussion at both pre-construction and ongoing regular job meetings. To ensure that contractors and subcontractors are fully informed of implications of these requirements on their work prior to and throughout construction process. We have leads TM trademark documentation, process and technical requirements here. So summary of best practices, let us say. Summary of best practices. Locate in an existing building and reuse as much of building materials as possible. Provide easily accessible collection and storage points for recyclable material. Applying construction waste management operation in building out a tenant space to reduce debris. Applying construction waste management operations in building out a tenant space to reduce debris by recycling these materials. Property management firms like whatever, for example, require contractors to recycle a minimum of 50% of waste generated on site. In building out new offices spaces, preference should be given to materials that are harvested and manufactured locally or regionally. Preference should be given to materials that contain a high percentage of recycled content. Priority should be given to rapidly renewable materials and materials that are reclaimed, salvaged, or refurbished. Whenever possible, use wood that has been certified by Forest Stewardship Council or other acceptable organizations. Materials efficiency. When selecting sustainable building materials and products for a project, start by evaluating some important inherent characteristics that could adversely impact environment. These include zero or low off-gassing of harmful air emissions and zero or low toxicity in addition to reused and recycled content, high recyclability, durability, longevity, and local production. I repeat, When selecting sustainable building materials and products for a project, start by evaluating some of important inherent characteristics that could adversely impact environment. Start by evaluating some of important inherent characteristics that could adversely impact environment. These include zero or low of gassing of harmful air emissions and zero or low toxicity in addition to reused and recycled content. High recyclability, durability, longevity and local production. Such products also promote resources conservation and efficiency. Use of recycled content products also helps develop market for recycled materials that are being diverted from landfills. It's particularly important to achieve LEED credits, thus ability to maintain 40 or 60% of buildings' interior non-structural components, for example, can earn LEEDs TM MR credits. Leave it. Use of dimensional planning and other material efficiency strategies helps reduce amount of building materials needed and cut construction costs. For example, designing room on 4-foot modules minimize waste by conforming to standard sized wallboard and plywood sheet. A further example is reuse and recycling of construction and demolition materials, say as a base course for building foundation, reduces materials designated for landfills and cuts costs. Plans should be prepared for organizing material through deconstruction, demolition, and construction. Water efficiency and sanitary waste. Construction waste management. Commercial construction typically generates between 2 pounds or 2.5 pounds of solid waste per square feet. Well, this is different, means 2 pounds or 2.5 pounds solid waste per square feet, majority of which is recyclable. Salvaging and recycling construction and demolition waste can substantially reduce the demand for virgin sources and associated environmental impacts. Additionally, effective construction waste management, including appropriate handling of non-recyclables, can reduce contamination from and extend life of existing landfills. Whenever feasible, therefore, reducing initial waste generation is environmentally preferable to reuse or recycling. Construction waste management plan should recognize project waste as an integral part of overall materials organization. Premise being that waste management is a part of materials management, and recognition that one project's waste or materials available for another project facilities efficient and effective waste organization. Moreover, waste organization requirements should be included as a topic of discussion during both pre-construction phase and ongoing regular job meetings to ensure that contractors and appropriate subcontractors are fully aware of implications of these requirements or their work prior to and throughout construction. Waste organization should be coordinated with or part of standard quality assurance program, and waste organization requirements should be addressed regularly throughout project. All topical applications of processed clean board waste and ground gypsum board as a soil amendment must be implemented in accordance with local and state regulators. When possible, adherence to plan would be facilitated by tying completion of recycling documents to one-off payments for each trade contractor. Construction waste management. Commercial construction typically generates between 2 and 2.5 pounds of solid waste per square feet, as we said before, majority of which is recyclable. Salvaging and recycling construction and demolition. Construction and demolition at C&D waste can substantially reduce demand for virgin services and its associated environmental impacts. Additionally, effective construction waste management organization, including appropriate handling of non-recyclable, can reduce contamination from and extend life of existing landfills whenever feasible. Therefore, reducing initial waste generation is environmentally preferable to reuse or recycling, says whenever feasible. Therefore, reducing initial waste generation is environmentally preferable to use or reuse cycling. From outset, the project's construction waste organization plans should recognize project waste as an integral part of overall material organization. A project's construction waste management plans should recognize project waste as an integral part of overall materials management. Premise being that waste management is a part of material management or organization, and recognition that one project's waste per or materials available for another project facilitates efficient and effective waste management. Moreover, waste management requirements should be included as a topic of discussion both during pre-construction phase and ongoing regular job meeting to ensure that contractors and appropriate subcontractors are fully aware of implications of these requirements on their work prior to and throughout construction. So you can say construction waste management, I think something same. It's the same. I think there's some repetition on this. It's useless, So construction waste management, sir. Broad intent of construction waste management credit is to avoid material going to landfills during construction by diverting construction waste demolition and land clearing debris from landfill disposal. We'll be back within a certain time. Let me use this as useful. You can meanwhile go through this and let us see how it can be much better. Go for 10 minutes as usual. So gentlemen, sorry I have come back now, just a minute. Now we'll continue as we're talking of, and this is, we're talking of construction waste management, which is also very important part of what we insert. Broad intent of construction waste management or construction waste organization credit is to avoid materials going to landfills during construction by diverting construction waste, demolition and land clearing debris from landfill disposal. Redirect recyclable recovered resources back to manufacturing process and redirect reusable materials to appropriate sites. Recycle and salvage at rate of at least 50 to 75% of non-hazardous and packaging debris. Non-hazardous C&D and packaging debris. Develop and implement a construction waste management plan that at a minimum identifies and quantifies materials generated during construction and that's to be recycled or that's to be diverted from disposal, and whether such materials shall be sorted out on site or commingled. Typical items would include brick debris, concrete, steel, ductwork, clean dimensional wood, paperboard and plastic used in packing, etc. Excavated soil and land clearing debris do not contribute to this credit. Excavated soil and land clearing debris do not contribute to this credit, as we said. These items such as include brick debris, concrete, steel, ductwork, clean dimensions, wood, paperboard and plastics. They give credit. Calculations can be done by weight or by volume but must be consistent throughout. Each credit a project attempts to achieve using lead system requires documentation to prove activity was completed. Lead letter templates are to be used to certify that lead requirements are met for each prerequisite and credit. Additional documentation may also be required. Contractor is responsible for construction waste organization. Contractor shall generally be responsible for completing required lead letter template documentation for these two credits. Documentation required includes following: providing lead letter template signed by architect, owner or other responsible party, tabulating total waste material, quantities diverted and means by which diverted, and declaring that credit requirements have been met. A portion of credits in each application may be audited, and contractor should be prepared with backup documentation for credits that are involved in implementing. A waste organizational plan projects will generally require a plan and regular submittals tracking progress. Plan should show how required cycling rate is to be achieved, including material to be recycled or salvaged, cost estimates comparing recycling to disposal fees, materials handling requirements and how plans shall be communicated to crew and subcontractors. All subcontractors are required to adhere to plan in their contracts. Design considerations related to construction waste reduction. Now, what is that? Smaller projects use less material, reducing both solid waste and operating costs. Assembly should be designed to match standard dimensions of material to be used. This assembly design should be considered. This assembly design should be considered so that materials can be readily reused or recycled. Clips and stops should be employed to support drywall. Clips and stops should be employed to support drywall or wood paneling at top plates and walls and corners. Clips can provide potential for two stud corners, reducing wood use, easing lateral and plumbing rough in and improving thermal performance. Materials attached with removable fasteners are generally quicker, cheaper and more feasible to deconstruct than materials installed with adhesives. However, adhesives distribute loads over larger areas than when fasteners are used alone. Remodel to make use of existing foundations and structures in good condition, reducing waste, material requirements and possible labor costs. Design for flexibility and changing use of spaces. Specify materials such as SIPs, panelized wood, framing and precast concrete that can be delivered pre-cut for rapid, almost waste-free installation. For wood construction, consider 24-inch on center framing with insulated headers, trusses for roofs and floors, finger joint study and engineered wood, framing and sheathing materials. Whenever practical, specify materials with high recycled content. It's estimated that commercial construction typically generates between, this is all given before, so I'm not going to read it. Let us say it's repetition here, but I say construction waste management plan should from outset recognize project waste as an integral part of overall materials organization, premise that waste management is a part of materials organization and recognition that one's project wastes are materials available for another one. Waste management requirements should be taken into account early in design process and be topic of discussion at both pre-construction and ongoing regular job meetings. So waste management should also be coordinated with or be part of standard quality program, and requirements should be addressed regularly at each phase of project. Topical application of processed clean wood waste and ground gypsum board are all okay. Now we'll go to somewhere else. Construction demolition waste using GIS tools. GIS consists of set of tools for storing data. GIS consists of a set of tools for storing data, processing and documenting geographic information in a given area of interest. From perspective of an environmental study, geographic data can represent different elements in local data, such as socio-economic, physical and geological data, among others. GIS is an evaluation tool that can be used collaboratively with several other modules that estimate environmental impacts and the consequences of a project. In context of construction waste organization, GIS can have several applications. GIS can improve accuracy of building stock models by increasing availability of geo-reference information, enabling analysis of material accumulation in time and space. GIS tools is possible to perform several spatial analysis applied to CLU management and such mapping illegal dumping sites, simultaneously environment risks and local suitable areas for installing landfills and recycle plants. MC methods are usually incorporated when it's intended to locate suitable areas for thermal waste treatment using GIS software, so that choice of an area considers different criteria and corresponds more to reality of study area. In general, decision-making process aim at meeting objectives and are developed based on evaluation of several criteria. It is essentially a decision-making process of a multi-criteria nature in which several attributes of problems are considered in evaluation. Applications of multi-criteria methods, evaluations of multi-criteria methods, you can say, are increasingly accepted in terms of quantitative models, since they can incorporate many variables, where qualitative and quantitative, into their analysis. Criteria can be classified into constraints or factors. Constraints are determined according to Boolean logic, value of 1 or 0, which represent respectively yes or no. 1 is yes and 0 is no. To identify suitable areas and remove inappropriate areas from analysis. Other hand, factors are of continuous nature and represent a variation of suitability, thus qualifying areas according to characteristics relevant to study. In order to select suitable locations for receiving and treating waste, decision maker needs to analyze different aspects such as gender, distance, competitiveness and acceptance of surrounding population. Among other, generally, MSCA method uses scores on several criteria correlated to different alternatives, having ways related to composition between two criteria. Coronado used MCA method to identify CWC management, CDW management alternatives in Canterbury, Spain. Research involved for MCA methods. Design concluded that best solution for CW Canterbury is recycling 100% of waste generated by construction of 4 recycling plants once. Okay, the analytical hierarchy of this. Okay, now I go to so it says analytical hierarchy process AHP developed by Satie is still most useful for decision making, and traditional methods of area selection include graphical methods, diffuse comprehensive assessment, and gray grouping method. On the other hand, use of GIS and AHP can effectively solve problem of installing landfills and recycling plants. Silva developed a methodology to support decision-making process in choice of best land alternatives for installation of CDW cycling plant in city of Ponta Grossa, Parna, Brazil. AHP method was used to evaluate environmental, social and economic impacts of a cycling plant installation. So we go now. In order to identify key drivers and sub-drivers that are major importance in developing a waste management system, WMS, and which represent main challenge in management strategies in Serbia and other countries. So Tautet used AHP method to identify existing problems which influence low waste organization development and to highlight role of key drivers in waste management system. In this case, in this sense, importance of using GIS tool associated with MCA in integrated CDW management is highlighted. Greening your specification. Let us say, greening your specification. Construction documents typically consist of working drawings and specifications. Construction documents typically consist of working drawings and specifications and are essential to convey building design concept to contractor. They provide contractor with necessary information to bid and build a project. More accurately, a concept is conveyed, more likely it is to be realized. It's important, therefore, that building specifications be an integral part of written documents and that they go hand in hand with drawings. They describe materials to be used as well as methods of installation. They also prescribe quality and standard of construction required to be achieved on project. Thus, in order to facilitate communication of building design concept, construction industry has a standardized format for construction documents. Working drawings describe location, size and quantity of materials, whereas specifications, written documents that accompany working drawings, describe quality of construction. For example, if a working drawing shows a plaster wall, specifications would include description of plaster mix, lat and paper backing, and finishing techniques. To do this more effectively, several standard formats were developed. However, most widely used today is standard organizational format for specifications developed by Construction Specifications Institute, which is now used by manufacturers, architects, engineers, interior designers, contractors and building officials throughout the United States for construction specifications in building contracts. Obvious purpose of this format is to assist user in locating specific types of information. Likewise, when specifying green building materials, it's best to follow Construction Specifications Institute master format, as most specifications are organized according to it. Moreover, green specifications can be used to benchmark efficiency of other environmental specifications. Likewise, environmental goals for a specific project can easily be implemented in CSI, Construction Specifications Institute master format. There is also wealth of information on grading your specifications on internet. EPA format in particular designed to help supplement project specification. Furthermore, EPA team shall reportedly assist in development of modifications of project specifications to meet leads credit requirements. But in order to achieve this, a clear understanding is necessary of how specifications can best be used as a proactive mechanism to assist in procuring materials that are environmentally friendly and in collecting required leads information for subcontractors and suppliers. Building Green has extensive information on sustainable design based on CSI hierarchy. Specifications are general guidelines as to produce selection and installation and may not be appropriate for a specific project, which is why before using Building Green guideline specifications, reader should have read disclaimer. Further information regarding green specs can be found on buildinggreen.com. While green specs is organized according to construction specifications, Institute's SEMA CSI Master Format Structure 2004, 7th edition of green specs introduced by entirely. So, specifications, we're talking of previous guideline specifications for a range of sections throughout various divisions have been replaced with a much more comprehensive set of guidelines specifications for 4 sections in Division 1. These sections are organized in new master format. These Division 1 sections are adopted from drafts of specifications that were developed by Green Building Consultants, 7 Group and Building Green for US Environmental protection agencies research triangle. They contain a, you can say, these divisions. This division is one section are adopted from drafts of specification that are developed by green building consultants and group in building green for US Environmental Protection Agency Research Triangle Park campus. They contain a significant amount of new material and product specific guidance in addition to updated language. They contain a significant amount of new material and product specs guidance in addition to updated language on other topics. Intended that these guidelines specifications be modified as needed for new developments, retrofits and maintenance. You can say they contain a significant amount of new material and product specific guidance in addition to updated language on other topics. Intended that these guidelines specifications be modified as needed for new developments. Retrofits and maintenance, they are organized into four basic divisions of 01. Construction, waste management or organization, testing for indoor air quality, sustainable design requirement, general commissioning requirement. These four sections cumulatively provide an overview of sustainable design requirements that may be applied to a wide variety of projects. When these sections are applied in actual project specifications, specific requirements must be inserted throughout construction documents to ensure compliance with sustainable design intent. In revised green specs format, product listings in each divisions are divided into separate sections following as much as possible master format system. Each section starts with summary of environmental considerations relating to products in that section. These divisions are, say, master format numbering had to be modified slightly to better fit green products cover. Below is the latest green specs, that is CSI classified Vino, general requirement, existing conditions, concrete, masonry, metals, wood, plastics and composites, thermal and moisture protection, openings, finishes, specialties, equipment finishings, special construction, conveying equipment, plumbing, so we say what are specialties we have to read. Just a minute please. Let me put on my switch. I have to take some water. I put electric switch on. So in this list we can say general requirements, existing conditions. This is these guidelines, specifications based on CSI classification menu, general requirements, existing conditions, concrete, masonry, metals, wood, plastics and composites, thermal and moisture protection, openings, finishes, specialties, equipment, furnishings, special construction, covering equipment, plumbing, heat ventilation, plumbing, heat ventilation and air conditioning, electrical, communications, electronic safety and security, earthwork, external improvement, utilities, transportation, waterway and marine construction, process heating, cooling and drying equipment, pollution control equipment, electric power generation. More details information by simply clicking or leave it now. Now plumbing versus, for example, by clicking region this plumbing you will get additional information. So operation and maintenance of plumbing fixtures, this is one. Operation and maintenance of plumbing fixtures, plumbing insulation, domestic water piping, sanitary sewerage facilities, sanitary waste and vent piping, facilities storm drainage, grey water systems, domestic water filtration equipment, fuel fired residential water heaters, fuel fired commercial heaters, water heaters, domestic water heat exchangers, residential toilets, composting toilets, residential urinals, resident lavatories and sinks, residential faucets, supplies and trim, residential shower heads, commercial plumbing fixtures, commercial toilets, commercial composting toilet system, commercial urinals, commercial faucet supplies and trim, commercial shower heads, flushometers, pressure water coolers, swimming pool plumbing systems. For designers, seeking certification or who wish to track their projects performance against LEED, specifications include details on how LEED requirements relate to expressed requirements. Many LEED credits may not be addressed directly in guideline specifications, primarily because attaining those credits is determined by choices made in site selection or design and are not affected by product choices or other activities covered by these sections. Responsibility lies with designer to ensure that whatever such credits have been satisfactorily addressed in design and construction process. Now we'll see earlier versions simply requires submittal of extensive documentation from contracts and subcontracts verify compliance with credit requirements. However, with shift to online submissions, documents requirements have been dramatically reduced. For projects pursuing LEED certification, contractors should be provided with LEED submittal form for each LEED credit that contract is to provide documentation. Contract would then complete form and attach additional documents. Project managers sometimes link receipt of Completed forms to payment requests from contractor at a point of time. Leave it now. So I'm not interested in this. It's all gone. Let us see this. Now, below is a sample guidance document that's based on whole building design guide, federal green construction guide for specifiers, consists of sample specifications language intended to be inserted into project specification on this subject as appropriate for greening your specification. Certain provisions where indicated are required for US federal agency projects. Sample specification language is numbered to clearly distinguish from advisory or discussion materials. Each sample is preceded by identification of typical location on the specification section. I also leave this. Now, specifier note. Resource management. Plant fabrication handles raw materials and byproducts at a single location, typically allows greater efficiency and better pollution preventive than job site fabrication. Aggregates for use in concrete include normal sand and gravel, crushed stone, expanded clay, expanded shale, expanded slate, pelletized or extruded fly ash, expanded slag, perlite, vermiculite, expanded polystyrene beads, processed clay, diatomite, pumice, scoria or tuff. Architectural items, planters, lintels, bollards, fabricated from lightweight and recycled content aggregates are available. Quantity and type of recycled materials vary from manufacturer to manufacturer and include cellulose, fiberglass, polystyrene and rubber. Autoclaved aerated concrete AAC is type of lightweight precast concrete prevalent in Europe, Asia and Middle East and recently available through manufacturing facilities in the United States. It's made with Portland cement, silica, sand and fly ash, lime water, aluminum powder or paste. Aluminum reacts with products of hydration to release millions of tiny hydrogen gas bubbles. Aluminum reacts with products of hydration to release millions of tiny hydrogen gas bubbles that expand mix to approximately 5 times normal volume. When set, AC is cut into blocks, slabs and steam cured in an autoclaved. Cast in place concrete. Precast concrete generally requires less Portland cement per volume of concrete for similar performance due to better quality control. Performance is more predictable as in precast operations since more exact dimensions, placement of reinforcing and surface finishing can be obtained. Precast concrete can be fabricated with continuous insulation and aerated air concrete. You can say AC is significantly lighter, you can say A is significantly lighter. Autoclave aerated concrete is significantly lighter, about 1/5 weight of traditional concrete than normal concrete and can be formed into blocks or panels. Lighter weight concerned concretes generally have greater fire and thermal resistance but less strength than traditional normal weight. A full range of lightweight concrete is available and strength. Okay, leave it now. Now we will go further. I'll save this document for reference only. That's all. It's a reference and that's going to work. So I save this and close this document now. We have gone through these documents to see what was there. Now I'll go to close this and construction risk management. And we'll concentrate on this way of. I was talking of this document which we are destined. So Adherence to requirements in environmental control procedure shall minimize impact of construction activities to land, air, water, flora and fauna. These requirements apply to all construction activities and applicable locations throughout camps. Preparation of access ways and work areas associated with installations under control of contractor, whatever contractor. Environmental control procedures describes requirements during construction for spill prevention and response. Spill prevention and response, waste organization management, dust control, traffic, noise and vibration control. Responsibilities, organization, coordination and review of these environmental activities are to be implemented by site leader in coordination with quality department and safety department. Environmental control procedure. Environmental control procedure describes environmental compliance activities for EPC contractor, construction personnel and their subcontracted entities. Sorry. Environmental control procedures describes environmental compliance activities for EPC contractor, construction personnel and their subcontracted entities. Objectives of ECP are to define specific environmental activities required to comply with contract and safety specifications, SHE specifications and other applicable environmental documents. Mitigate environmental impact of construction activities. Comply with local environmental protection practices. EPC contractor construction team shall comply with this procedure during construction, startup and initial operation of system. Each subcontractor involved in construction activities shall be provided with a copy of this procedure and required to comply with its contents. Periodic reviews of procedures shall be performed to confirm its adequacy and procedure regularly updated as required. Definitions in this safety, we defined safety already. Safety, health, environment, that is safety. These disciplines to support project activities. And company, who is a promoter, contractor, subcontractor, client, personal responsibility means training means and management, safety manager, all same, nothing new in this. Employer, representative, contractor representative, waste. Yes, waste is important here. Material or effluent. Material or effluent or other unwanted surplus substance that requires disposal because it cannot be reused or recycled or there is no economic demand for it. Repeat. Material or effluent or other unwanted surplus substance that requires disposal because it cannot be reused or recycled or there is no economic demand for it. Responsibilities in general respecting certain contract positions. We know project manager has to do everything, responsible for everything. Site leader, safety leader, construction leader, project site engineer, safety inspector, etc., all uniformly you can say all time. And responsibilities same way, we can say instructions here means health, safety and environment impact assessment. Prepared includes an assessment of impact of construction activities and construction camp on environment and suggests measures to mitigate impact. Now we are giving some suggestions along with control measures that contractors shall be undertaking in this table 1 in this case. Where is gone? Table 1, I will little squeeze it down so that we can see a little better. Maybe it's difficult for you to read it, possibly, but I'll blow it up later on for a few minutes. Let us read now. Here is environmental issue, suggestions, and then contractors control measures. What is issue? One issue is contaminated land. Another issue is protection of groundwaters and wadis. Then it is site preparation, dust noise, construction camp, oil spillage. Let us consider first these, then we'll see. Contaminated land. What is that? Contamination of land by some accidental oil spill or some effluent during construction activities. Means some oil spills out or effluent during construction activity spills out. So what happens? Solution is soil from areas of contamination shall be removed. First suggestion is that. Soil from areas of contamination shall be removed. Let us say now, I'll blow it up so that you can see. Contamination of land by some accidental oil spill or some effluent during construction activities. Soil from such areas of contamination shall be removed and disposed of to an approved landfill location. Contractors shall contact local authorities for disposing contaminated soil in appropriate landfill. Next is protection of groundwater and wadis. Groundwaters and other water sources like wadis are utilized for agriculture and cattle feeding by local population and for weeds and plants growing in area. This water source has to be protected from pollution from construction activities. Runoff requires a system of temporary impoundment or impounding and settling to remove silt before returning to ground. Wash water runoff requires a system of temporary impounding and settling to remove silt before returning to ground. This shall be carried out during site preparation. And also a silt retention trap. A silt retention trap shall be constructed at all wash water facilities. Silt retention trap. This retention shall allow settling of sand, silt and grease, etc. and only treated. Sewage must be treated and only after that allowed to run out to ground. Sewage treatment plants shall be installed and be operational along with construction camp. At isolated locations, local methods shall be followed. In this case, sewage treatment plant shall be installed at each camp to control sewage. In this case, contractor to have a traffic management system, traffic organization system in place with temporary haul road and traffic segregation where practicable. Dust control measures to be implemented. Roads shall be maintained to reduce dust as practical. Temporary haul roads shall be constructed and kept as clear of sand as is practicable. Dust suppression measures shall be used to control dust such as water sprays. Dust shall be exacerbated by site activities. Dust shall be exacerbated by site activities such as stepping and vehicle movement, area experiences and sandstorms. Water spray barriers shall be used. Top layer of fine dust shall be graded away from traffic route as practicable. Water shall be sprayed to suppress flying dust. Noise. Excessive noise level created by constant operation of plants and equipment. Regular inspection of all equipment working on project shall be done in accordance with manufacturer's recommendations so as to maintain minimized noise levels. All equipment shall be maintained to acceptable noise level as recommended by manufacturer. Noise protection equipment shall be used by personnel if required to work in high noise level areas. Construction camp, life camp. Camp shall provide accommodation, catering and sanitation for approximately all workers, personnel. Waste arising from these camps shall be significant which shall affect traffic and to and fro camps. Regular inspection, sewage treatment plant to be installed in camps. Traffic segregation must be implemented. Dust suppression methods must be implemented. Sewage treatment plant shall be installed and maintained to meet requirements arising from sewage at camps. Oil spillage. Possible chances of oil leaks and spills from fuel refilling tankers, storage tanks and from breakdown of equipment shall contaminate ground and pollute adjacent groundwater. Use of bundled storage for oil. Use of bundled storage for oil or fuel products for containing accidental leak. Bundled storage. Use of bundled storage for oils or fuel product for containing accidental leak. Availability of recovery facilities for any leaked pollutant. Availability of recovery facilities for whatever leaked pollutant. Use of drip trays while refueling or handling fuel or oil products. Oil and fuel products shall be stored in bundled area for containing accidental leak. Recovery materials like absorbents, sand and sandbags shall be available in vicinity to immediate use. Drip trays shall be used to contain leaks while handling oil or refueling. Drip trays shall be used to contain leaks while handling oil or refueling. Recovered contaminated soil and associated materials shall be collected and disposed of in safe mode. So now we go to, after going through that, spill prevention and response. Let me take some more water and then come back. Spill prevention and response. EPC contractor believes in prevention first aid. Prevention first. EPC contractor trusts in prevention first and foremost by keeping commitment and resorting to best practices throughout construction. However, in event of an unforeseen natural disaster or man-made incident that results in a threat to environment, contractors shall be prepared to respond in a timely and effective manner that would limit environmental damage to a minimum. In many cases, major pollution incidents can be prevented if appropriate pollution prevention measures are taken at an early stage. Planning is a key to process and to success. Both preventive measures and incident response strategies are addressed as follows. Spill prevention. Spill prevention. Following procedures shall be carried out to reduce possibility of a spill that may be harmful to environment or to health and safety of staff. Appropriate precautions shall be taken so far as is reasonable to protect storage areas and equipment from vandalism. Stores of potentially polluting materials shall be situated on an impervious base surrounded by an impervious bund capable of containing a volume 50% greater than required store. Means stores of potentially polluting materials shall be situated on an impervious base surrounded by impervious bund. Both are impervious, means complete space surrounding that store should be impervious so that oil cannot penetrate into soil. And this space must be 50% more than what you have to store. Valves shall be checked periodically on routine SHE inspections to ascertain that they are closed. Special considerations shall be given to certain leakages arising from surface runoff around temporary stockpiles of materials. All stationary diesel and petrol operated construction equipment shall have impervious drip trays placed beneath during operation. Spillages into drip trays shall be collected for safe disposal. Vehicles and mobile equipment shall be regularly inspected to be maintained to confirm for not leaking or dripping. Operators shall be instructed in their safety training to notify their supervisors if they notice some problems with their vehicles, whereby appropriate maintenance shall be done. Maintenance of construction plant shall be closely supervised and required measures implemented to prevent hydrocarbon contamination. So it says, maintenance of construction plant shall be closely supervised and required measures implemented to prevent hydrocarbon contamination. These measures include use of drip trays, absorbent materials, close at hand, and careful disposal of used materials. Major equipment and vehicles shall be refueled on an impervious base. Care shall be taken not to spill any fuel. Absorbent materials shall be available closely. Stationary equipment with impervious drip trays shall be refueled in situ. Stationary equipment with impervious drip trays shall be refueled in situ. Fuel containers be sealed after use and stored on an impervious base away from water bodies. Higher levels of dust contaminant prevention, higher levels of dust containment prevention measures, higher levels of dust containment prevention methods shall be used for contaminated excavated material than used for other material. Appropriate measures may include use of fine water, sprays to thoroughly moisten all surfaces and maintain surface moist, use of protective fences or screens to provide prevention from winds, minimizing unnecessary handling of materials and enclosure of excavated materials in wind-proof containers prior to removal from site. I repeat, higher levels of dust contaminant, higher level of dust containments prevention method shall be used for contaminated excavated material than used for other materials. Appropriate measures may include use of fine water, sprays to thoroughly moisten all surfaces and maintain surface moist, use of protective fences or screens to provide prevention from winds, minimizing unnecessary handling of material and enclosure of excavated material in windproof containers prior to removal from site. Spill response. Magnitude of discharge spill shall determine extent of actions that have to be taken. Key actions in responding to a spill to minimize its environmental impact are: early detection. Regular inspections and training shall be carried out to enable early detection. It is everyone's responsibility to be aware of potential pollution risks. Notify your supervisor or emergency team. Notify supervisor, who shall notify leader of site and safety. Emergency services shall be notified as necessary. Access safety risks to humans. Attempt containment and cleanup operations of spilled substances only when it can be performed safely. If spilled material is flammable, eliminate sources of ignition near spill area. Personnel and neighbors are to be evacuated if they are prone to risk. Secure area and establish perimeter control at safe distance from spill. Stop sources of spill. When it can be performed safely, stop source of spill. Pollution control equipment shall be available from contractor site administration office, storage and refueling area. Contain spills if liquid. Contain spills if liquid. Liquid spills. If spill is liquid, its path shall be blocked or diverted and then soaked up using an absorbent material. gas spills or leaks. A gaseous leak must be stopped at source as soon as possible and then dispersed in air. It's not practicable, it's not practically possible to contain a gaseous leak. But weather conditions should be checked. Weather conditions should be checked to assess most likely flow direction into which leaked spilled pollutant shall flow out to. If it's expected to pose a risk to human health, area shall be emergently evacuated. Clean up. No spills shall be rinsed away. Contaminated soils and clean up materials from spills must be handled properly using personal protective equipment stored in a suitable container that is then labeled and stored in appropriate location for subsequent disposal. I repeat, this is clean up. No spill shall be rinsed away. Contaminated soils and clean up materials from spills must be handled properly using personal protective equipment stored in a suitable container that is then labeled and stored in appropriate location for subsequent disposal. Screen cover stockpiles of polluted matter to prevent dispersions. Screen cover stockpiles of polluted matter to prevent dispersion. Dispose with care. Contaminated soil and used clean-up material shall be treated as hazardous waste, which would be disposed of accordingly to a designated disposal site. Contaminated soil and used cleanup material shall be treated as hazardous waste, which would be disposed of accordingly to a designated disposal site. Document incident. Site safety leader shall be responsible for ensuring that his report is filed containing information on date, time and location. Document incident. Safety leader shall be responsible for ensuring that a report is filed containing information on date, time, location, type and quantity of spilled material, description and cause of incident, action taken, name of person reporting incident and recommended action for ensuring incident doesn't occur. Site HSC leader shall be responsible to ensure that a report is filed containing information on date, time, location, type and quantity of spilled material, description and cause of incident, action taken, name of person reporting incident and recommended actions for ensuring incident doesn't reoccur. Spill response material. Spill response material. Spill response pollution control materials shall be stored. Spill response pollution control materials shall be stored in a safe location on site in close proximity to storage and waste areas. This material is to be used to close to be used to contain and clean up pollution, while care shall be taken to dispose of absorbent material properly. They shall not be washed away. Site safety manager, leaders shall keep stocks well maintained and replenished. Repeat. Spill response materials. Spill response pollution control materials shall be stored in a safe location on site in close proximity to storage and waste areas. This material is to be used to contain and clean up pollution, while care shall be taken to dispose of absorbent materials properly. They shall not be washed away. Site safety leader shall keep stocks well maintained and replenished. Spill response materials shall include following. Spill response materials shall include following is sandbags, buckets and shovels, storage containers. Sand is one of most versatile containment materials. Sand is one of most versatile containment materials which can be used to soak up spillages of oil and chemicals and used in sandbags either to block off substances from sensitive areas or channels them off to a predetermined collection point. Sand stocks must be dry. Buckets and shovels should be readily available. Mechanical loading shovels, excavators and dump trucks may also be available for sand distribution. Sand stocks must be dry. Buckets and shovels should be readily available. Mechanical loading shovels, excavators and dump trucks may also be available for sand distribution and cleanup. Storage containers for contaminated materials contaminated materials and earth shall be burned located in waste storage area. Mechanical loading shovels, excavators and dump trucks may also be available for sand distribution and cleanup. Storage containers for contaminated materials and earth shall be burned located in waste storage area, labeled and treated as hazardous waste. Waste management, waste organization. Waste management, it is EPC's responsibility, EPC's contractor's policy to minimize and reuse recycled waste material whenever possible and to dispose of remaining wastes in accordance with procedure. Before wastes can be disposed of appropriately, these first need be categorized and segregated. Before waste can be disposed of appropriately, these first need be categorized and segregated. This in principle is often made difficult. This in principle in practice is often made difficult due to wide range of solids, chemicals and effluent. This, you can say, is a practice often made difficult due to wide range of solid, chemicals and effluent waste that need be segregated So we can say site leader before waste can be disposed of appropriately. These first need be categorized and segregated. In practice, is often made difficult due to wide range of solid, chemical, and effluent waste that need be segregated, stored, and disposed of. Site leader is responsible for allocation of trained officials to guide and control classification, storage, handling, transport, and disposal of waste. Waste can generally be classified as under domestic and municipal waste, non-hazardous industrial waste, and hazardous waste. In table 2 over storage and disposal methods for reusable, recyclable materials, domestic waste, non-hazardous construction waste. In table 2 over storage and disposal methods for reusable, recyclable materials, domestic waste, non-hazardous construction waste, hazardous waste, waste, water, and synthesis wastes are described. Now we are entering table 2. Let us see all wastes: reusable, cycle, domestic waste, non-hazardous construction waste, hazardous waste. So we go like this, okay? Category: storage and disposal. All wastes. All waste is a specific area shall be designated for storage of waste before it is disposed of. A specific area shall be designated for storage of waste before it is disposed of site. Specific area shall be designated for storage of waste before it is disposed of from site. Selected site should stand away from water bodies, drainage ditches, and shall be located on hard core to minimize risk of soil contamination. Containers shall be bundled where necessary. Fire prevention systems and pollution control equipment shall be provided for storage facilities. Where necessary to prevent fires or releases of hazardous materials to environment. Storage areas should be made inaccessible to animals and visitors. Storage containers shall be of sufficient size and quantity to contain all solid waste generated between collections. Reusable disposal. Waste shall be transported to designated area agreed with local authorities which is concerned municipality. Disposal of waste shall be delivered to designated area as necessary, supervised by local authority. Waste shall be transported to designated area agreed with local authorities which is concerned municipality. Disposal of waste shall be delivered to designated area as necessary, supervised by local authority. Vehicle delivering waste to disposal area shall be covered where necessary to prevent dropping en route, leaking, shifting or blowing. Disposal of waste shall be delivered to designated area as necessary, supervised by local authority. Vehicles delivering waste to disposal area shall be covered where necessary to prevent dropping en route, leaking, shifting or blowing off. Vehicles delivering waste to disposal area shall be covered if necessary to prevent stopping en route, leaking, shifting or blowing of solid waste from vehicle. Spillages or waste lost, spillages or waste lost from disposal vehicle en route to disposal site shall be promptly cleaned up. Before starting work, safety leaders shall confirm that drivers have specified training related to handling and disposal of cargo. HSC leaders shall maintain a working file to record waste being disposed. This shall include date, time, type of waste, approximate volume of waste, total waste. This shall include date, time, type of waste, approximate volume of waste and disposal method. Landfill and incineration sites shall be periodically inspected. Reusable, recyclable timber, metal, paper. Now, domestic reusable recyclable means timber, metals, papers. Reusable material shall be stored in an orderly manner and in accessible location. Reusable material shall be sent to yard for appropriate recycling. Domestic waste, food waste, domestic food trash, an adequate number of containers. Adequate number of containers shall be strategically placed over construction areas and temporary facilities. These containers shall be regularly collected and taken to main waste storage area. All food waste shall be properly stored in containers with seal tops to All food waste shall be properly stored in containers with sealed tops to minimize possibility of vermin infestation. Domestic waste shall be disposed of through municipal facilities. Then non-hazardous construction waste. Combustible, that is non-reusable timber, card, packaging waste, and non-combustible concrete, etc. Construction debris and demolition materials shall not be allowed to accumulate such that it presents an environmental, health and or safety hazard. Inert construction waste shall be segregated into combustible and non, and this is for non-hazardous construction waste. Combustible, that is non-reusable timber, card, packaging waste. Non-combustible, namely concrete. And these are suggestions that these debris should not be allowed to accumulate to present all environmental, health and safety hazard. Inert construction waste shall be segregated into combustible and non-combustible. Flammable substances must be stored away from sources of ignition. Combustible waste shall be taken to municipality incineration area. Non-combustible waste shall be taken to landfill areas. Combustible waste shall be taken to municipality incineration area. Non-combustible waste shall be taken to landfill areas. So we say here now, hazardous waste. This is important one. According to UN classification, hazardous waste can be categorized as follows. Explosives, gases, including toxic and flammable liquids, including solvents, flammable solids, oxidizing agents and organic peroxides, toxic and harmful substances, including toxic metals, radioactive, corrosive, including acid, corrosive, including acids and alkalis, and before that radioactive, and then other dangerous substances. Let us read little about this. Hazardous waste generated on site may include contaminated land, chemicals waste including cleaning fluids, lubricants, paints, dye, coating substances, solvents, corrosion inhibitors, biocides, emulsions, batteries, capacitors, hydrocarbon waste, fire extinguishers. We'll talk about these. Shall confirm that a trained official is allocated to guide and control classification, storage, handling, transport and disposal of waste. Hazardous waste shall be retained in a secure area with an impervious bunded base. So we can say site leader shall confirm that trained official is allocated to guide and control classification, storage, handling, transport and disposal of waste. Hazardous waste shall be retained in a secure area with an impervious bundle base. Area shall be located away from sources of ignition. This area shall be at least 17 meters away from water bodies and drainage ditches. Different types of hazardous waste shall be stored separately to avoid adverse chemical reactions and facilitate eventual treatment. Different types of hazardous waste shall be stored separately to avoid adverse chemical reactions and facilitate eventual treatment. Hazardous waste shall be stored separately from non-hazardous waste. Hazardous waste shall be stored in tightly closed, leak-proof containers made of or lined with materials that are compatible with hazardous waste. To be stored, containers shall be clearly marked with appropriate warning labels to accurately describe. Containers shall be clearly marked with appropriate warning labels to accurately describe their content and detailed safety precautions. The labels shall be waterproof, securely attached and written in local languages and English. Wherever possible, chemicals should be kept in original container. Hazardous chemicals shall be stored and handled in accordance with manufacturer's material safety data. Hazardous waste shall be disposed of into areas so that designated by municipality. It shall remain segregated and in labeled storage containers. HSC leader shall register all hazardous waste and disposal methods. Safety data sheet shall be consulted. General points above in all waste sections apply. Incompatible hazardous waste shall not be transported together. Now, and this is also one more. This was hazardous metals shall be stored and handled in accordance with manufacturer's metal safety data sheet. Spill prevention measures shall be adhered to. Site HSC leader shall register all hazardous waste and disposal methods. Safety data sheet shall be consulted by site HSC leader. Equipment, materials and skills shall be readily available to deal with spillages. Washing facilities shall be available. And wastewater. Sanitary waste and wastewater. Wastewater and sewage arising from camp are talking of. Storage treatment. Fresh water supply shall be segregated from wastewater. Fresh water supply shall be segregated from wastewater in accordance with health requirements of contract documents. No wastewater shall be injected into groundwater. Freshwater supply shall be segregated from wastewater in accordance with health requirements and contact documents. All wastewater shall be allowed for settling silt before allowing to drain ground. All camp units shall be connected to a sewerage main which runs through PVC pressure line to a treatment system located adjacent to camp. Treatment system shall be based upon use of an extended aeration activated sludge process. Treatment system shall be based upon use of an extended aeration activated sludge process with an aeration system and solid separation using settlement and would consist of twin streams, each with adequate capacity. So, treatment system shall be based upon use of an extended aeration activated sludge process with an aeration system solid separation using settlement and will consist of twin streams each with adequate capacity. All treated effluent shall gravitate to a chlorine contact tank where chlorination due to HU, a chlorine residual of 0.5 to 1 ppm prior to passing to a designated collection basin required to So 0.5 to 1 ppm prior to passing to designated collection basin located adjacent to camp. Facilities shall be maintained by EPC contractor to meet treated effluent water shall be used for irrigation and dust control after it has been analyzed to confirm that it's safe for such intended purposes. Sewage treatment plant shall be erected and made operational during first phase of camp occupancy. Dust and emissions. Most prevalent construction emission is fugitive dust. However, emission of carbon monoxide (CO) and related exhaust gases are likely to be released from diesel generators and other activities. Other activities such as on-site painting, a refueling of equipment, application of adhesives, waterproofing chemicals, and incomplete combustion of fuel and in construction equipment. Note that none of planned activities shall cause release of hydrogen sulfide gas. So most prevalent construction emission is fugitive dust. However, emission of carbon monoxide and related exhaust gases are likely to be released from diesel generators and other activities such as on-site painting, refueling of equipment, application of adhesives, waterproofing chemicals, and incomplete combustion of fuel in construction equipment. Note that none of planned activities shall cause release of hydrogen sulfide gas. It's also an important point. Dust and emissions must be controlled during construction down to an acceptable level, and to achieve this should be no unnecessary idling of vehicles and machinery. Fuel, paint and chemical containers shall be kept sealed when not directly in use. All vehicles and construction plants shall be properly maintained to minimize excessive exhaust emission. Where possible, engines shall be located away from work areas. Should problems arise, for example, with defective equipment, which results in generation of fumes, gases or odors on site, for which operators shall be instructed through their HSC awareness or you can say all vehicles and construction plants shall be properly maintained to minimize excessive exhaust emission. Where possible, engines shall be located away from work area should problem arise, for example with defective equipment which results in generation of fumes, gases or odors on site, for which operators shall be instructed through their SHE awareness training to shut down and notify respective supervisor to facilitate appropriate mitigations and response. Dust shall be controlled as far as practicable. Control measures can significantly help minimize dust in most cases, with exception of sandstorms. If a severe sandstorm occurs, site leader shall decide whether or not to close site works. After dust storm has settled, roads shall be cleared. Fugitive dust emissions shall be minimized by implementing following controls. Water spraying shall be conducted at a frequency of to keep and all concerned persons, let's say, water spraying shall be conducted in frequency to keep surfaces moist. Treated wastewater or groundwater shall be used for this purpose. All concerned persons shall be required to fully cover with sheeting or spray water an open bodied truck hauling sand, gravel or soil between on-site and off-site areas. All transgressions shall be immediately brought to attention of hauler concerned by site SHE manager. Failure to comply with requirements shall result in offender prevented from accessing site. If sandblasting operations are required, shall be located and scheduled so as to minimize noise and interdusting effects on adjacent work areas. Excavation faces not being worked shall be required be moistened. Excavation faces not being worked shall be required to be moistened. Formation levels shall not be moistened excessively or better avoided. Deliveries of finely ground materials shall be using bag form. Deliveries of finely ground materials shall be using bag form or stockpiled in specified locations where the metal can be suitably covered. Minimum drop height shall be used during material transport. Roads around site, particularly at site entrance, shall be monitored. Shall be kept as clean as dust and blood as practically should be. Required necessary road in this vicinity of site entrance should be made. Construction personnel shall be required to enter site over prepared surfaces and park in designated lots. Roads around site, particularly at site entrance, shall be monitored on a regular basis, shall be kept as clear from dust and dirt as is practicable. Should require necessary roads in vicinity of site entrance shall also be swept. Should problems arise which results in excessive dust generation on site, workers shall be instructed through their safety awareness training to notify their supervisor to facilitate appropriate response. Following traffic controls shall apply. Non-essential vehicles parking on site, let us say construction area access, shall be limited to construction vehicle only. Non-essential vehicles parking on site shall be restricted. Site access shall be limited through established roadways. Traffic shall be routed to site, avoiding residential areas as far as is practicable. Site access shall be limited through established roadways. Traffic shall be routed to site, avoiding residential areas as far as practicable. Majority of construction vehicles shall be restricted to designated parking areas. Parking regulations shall be established and enforced. Majority of construction vehicles shall be restricted to designated parking areas. Parking regulations shall be established and enforced. All road surfaces shall be maintained in safe and passable conditions. Vehicle washing facilities shall be provided on site. Environmental friendly construction practices. Follow all permit and environmental mitigation requirements. Follow all permits and environmental mitigation requirements. Stay within project boundary. Watch for and avoid flagged exclusion zones on site. Leave wildlife and vegetation alone. Conduct with care project activities that can affect wildlife and vegetation, namely clearing, to avoid unnecessary disturbance. Do not dump waste in streams, ponds, lakes, rivers, wetlands, natural drainages, or other sensitive areas. Do not dump waste in stream, ponds, lakes, rivers, wetlands, natural drainages, or other sensitive areas. Implement and maintain erosion control and stormwater measures as appropriate, such as drainage ditches and trenches to divert flows away from active work areas. Structures to prevent saturation from reaching surface waters and sedimentation ponds to settle out stormwater particulates. Implement and maintain erosion control and stormwater measures as appropriate, such as drainage ditches and trenches to divert flows away from active work areas, structures to prevent situations from reaching surface waters, and sedimentation ponds to settle out stormwater particular particles. Place depends understanding mobile equipment, respond respond to spills by stopping source of spill and immediately notifying the supervisor. Contain Contain spill and clean it up using absorbent materials. Do not rinse spill away. Document and report type, quantity of spilled materials. Respond to spills by stopping source of spill and immediately notifying a supervisor. Contain spill and clean it up using absorbent material. Do not rinse spill away. Document and report type, quantity of spilled material, date, time, and cause of spill, and clean up as required. Maintain equipment in proper operating conditions. Stockpile overburden, spoils, and fills at least 50 feet, 15 to 20 meter from surface, water, and wetlands where possible. Recycle treated wastewater to be reused as dust control if allowed, and where practicable avoid using as a dust suppression. Avoid using a oil as a dust separator. Store waste in properly designated areas. Labels or containers accurately. Store hazardous waste securely in closed containers. Ship hazardous waste to appropriate treatment and disposal facilities complying with local requirements. Store waste in properly designated areas. Label all containers accurately. Store hazardous waste securely in closed containers. Ship hazardous waste to appropriate treatment and disposal facilities complying with local requirements. Do not burn anything except untreated wood. Recycle, reuse welding rods use batteries, use oil, solvent, paints, paper, glass, and scrap wood or metal where required and as much as possible. Immediately stop work and notify your supervisor if human remains or archaeological artifacts are found. Immediately stop work and notify your supervisor if contaminated soil, unusual coloration or odor, or underground storage tanks are discovered. Ask your supervisor environment safety and we have gone through this chapter. It's a little bit interesting. We have gone through this in a way. It's like this, and so we can say that we have covered this. We have covered this in a good way. This chapter. So that we can close it. I think it has been a better time. We've gone through factor we have gone through. And also we went through this file, that is I think we went through this file, right? Construction risk management, all this construction environment. Yes, this is that file we went through. Science Direct. And also this case we dealt with, and we have next time what we have. Let me see. I should not have closed actually. Did a mistake. No problem. Mistakes, no problem at all. Well, next time this will be it's working at hands, hazards control. It will be hazards control. Yes, hazards control. It will be hazards control. That is the next one. Hazards control. File, you can say. So this is that type of file we will take care of next time. And now I think it's able to close. I think we close it.